Hi, I'm Kimberly, and energy work was one of the many modalities that I use to help heal from over a decade of severe chronic illness. In this video, I'm going to talk about the first experience I had that led me to understand what energy work was, that it was a thing, and that I had some ability to utilize this. Secondly, a practitioner that really helped me understand what I was seeing, what I was hearing, what I was feeling, what was going on through my body. And thirdly, how I incorporated this into my practices, into my life to later on then help other people as well. So my first experience with energy work was somewhere, I want to say around 15 years ago now. I was pretty early in on my healing journey, but had tried at this point many other things. I was probably about, I want to say like 5 or 6 years into the severe experiences that I was having. And I was seeing somebody that did something called emotion code. So first of all, I was an atheist as a teenager. I was 19 when I had an anaphylactic shock that sent me into this chronic experience. And in about 5 or 6 years, I suddenly started shifting my perspective to from atheism to other things. I'm not religious. I've never been religious, but I do have a connection with, as you know, we do with nature, anything, connection with things outside of ourselves, and an understanding of how we are all one, or how we are all connected with each other. So I went to this emotion code practitioner, and I, was still kind of learning to understand everything, getting into spirituality. I've been practicing yoga, had been meditating, and I'm lying there. She decided to do energy work on me this day. And so I believe it was Reiki. And I was like, okay, I haven't experienced this before. Like, let's give it a go. At this point, I'm willing to try anything and everything to heal. So, as we're in the session, I remember like vividly this like woman, and she had this long hair, and she was kind of like, I had my eyes closed, but in my eyes closed, I could kind of see her like hovering over me, lying down, and like she had this rainbow of colors and this hair that really just flowed and had all these colors in it. And after the session, she started describing this exact thing that I was seeing that I had not verbalized at all. And there was nothing, like, I barely knew this person. There was no like predisposed anything that would have led me to us to have had this same image in our head. We didn't watch like the same movie prior to this or whatever. She described what I was seeing and went beyond that with some other things too. But I know very specifically this lady with the hair was something that was like, whoa, like, how is this possible? Some years later, I started seeing this acupuncturist. Now, this is a lady that helped me to really understand. I had this experience. I started having experiences in my meditations. I started being able to see, understand things, get little like messages, intuitions about things. But when I went to see this acupuncturist in Arizona, she not only did acupuncture, but she stayed in the room the entire time and did energy work on me. This was a life-changing experience. I remember one of the early, if not the first session that I had with her. I was lying there, and all of a sudden I'm like seeing water. I'm like hearing water. I'm like feeling water. And so I tell her, I'm like, wow, I'm just like seeing water and feeling water right now. And she's like, just kind of stops and she looks at me. She's like, I'm working on your kidneys right now. That's water. And then this kept happening where I like would tell her, oh my God, I have this shooting like sensation here. I have this pressure here, or various different things, or sometimes a smell would come through really strongly. And so I started telling her, and she started to work with me to help me understand what the meridians were, what she was working on, how this connected to different areas of the body, and why this made sense for this to happen. And I started to go, oh my God, this isn't just like random things that I'm experiencing. Whereas I'm sure in my meditations up until that point, and doing yoga and various things, I was experiencing images, smells, sounds, just like a knowing all of a sudden of something in my mind. And I kind of just chalked it up to random things happening. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, I got all these things going on. I don't know. She validated or made me understand, helped me understand that what I was experiencing was not random, that it was very specific. So third thing now is, how did I take this with me and start to use this in my practices to do energy work on myself, to heal myself? So I started going to another practitioner that did network care. It's spinal wave stuff where it's moving the energy through the spine. Now, this was over 10 years later that I started seeing this practitioner, and they were doing SSI breathing, which was basically putting your hands like on different parts of your chest. They do this on a lot of meditations, you know, like high heart, stomach organ, and then low belly, to help you feel where your breath is. So it helps you be in tune with where you're feeling things. They also had a lot of different like little practices to help you tap into your emotions and everything. So I started to feel in my body where I was noticing certain sensations, where I was feeling things with breath. So utilizing breath work, and feeling just subtle sensations in the body. Now, I had a lot of what it was thought to be neuropathy going into my legs. I had a constant tingling, pain sensations. I actually had toes that were numb. I, had a doctor, poke my toes, and in some spots I couldn't feel a single thing. In other things, I'm jumping in pain, and he was doing the same thing to different toes. So I had severe things going on like this. Now, what I started to understand was that this was not necessarily a bad thing. This was my body telling me sensations to help me understand connection with energy. So instead of being afraid of what I was feeling, like this neuropathy pain in my feet, what I started to do was imagine that energy running down my legs, running down and out my feet and into the earth. And as that ran into the earth, I would see my energy. And now this hurt. A lot of times there would be temporarily more sensation going down my legs as I was allowing this energy to flow down, as I was physically, a lot of the time, standing in the grass and allowing my feet to connect with the earth, soaking up those negative ions, allowing the positive ions that cause inflammation to run out of my body into the earth. This is what grounding in electricity does. When you plug into an outlet, there's the grounding prong that's there. This is the same thing. We are electromagnetic. So when we stand in the grass, we allow that energy to go down and out our feet, releasing inflammatory positive ions and uptaking negative ions that are anti-inflammatory, grounding. So I would do this either physically standing in the grass or just lying down and just experiencing what I was experiencing. Like I said, this was uncomfortable. This usually wasn't a great practice, especially in the beginning. But I began to understand that there were blocks happening in my nervous system, that there were blocks happening in my tissues, and that was causing the signals from my legs not to go down up to my feet and for things to circulate back up to my spine properly. So I found different ways to become in tune with what was going on, allowing myself to feel what I was feeling, the sensations, even if they were extremely uncomfortable. And some of these were so excruciatingly painful. And I was experiencing versions of this anyway. I was in chronic pain all of the time, restless leg at night, like couldn't sleep. So I was just allowing myself to experience what it was like to fully allow the sensation to move and then to consciously direct the energy. So I began to notice, okay, it feels like the energy is getting stuck here. I'm having pain from this spot to this spot. It feels like it's getting stuck here. So I would bring my hands to a certain part of my body, or I would just in my mind see the energy moving down and out of somewhere or circulating in a different way. And so this can get very complex, and I can make some more detailed videos on how I would do specific things when specific things would come up, because I could go on forever with this stuff. However, the beginning of noticing and having somebody to kind of help you understand what is going on. I had a friend who was actually, she was experiencing this leg thing where she started having, she didn't have chronic illness. It was just during 2020, she started experiencing this energy feeling in her feet where it felt like it was pain and it felt like it was getting stuck. So we practiced. We would put her feet on crystals. We'd put her feet in the ground. I would help direct her energy down and out her feet, or I would help her guide her to direct her energy down and out her feet so that it was allowing it to go through. She did this daily, multiple times a day for months, and she doesn't experience that pain anymore. She doesn't experience that uncomfortable sensation anymore. It was something that she experienced and then let it go. And a lot of the times we get these diagnoses like neuropathy and other things that are going on, and we're like, dude, oh my gosh, like I can't get away from this diagnosis. This is just something I am now. And it's not true. And this is where we have been programmed to believe, and it's not to the fault of somebody saying necessarily like, oh my God, you are going to have this and I maliciously want you to be doomed with this. No, it's just our society, our systems that are set up are put into place to have us be like, oh, oh my gosh, I'm stuck with this kind of thing. Like I can't get out of this, but it's not the case. We can get out of this stuff. We can take our power back. We can direct our energy in different ways. We can direct our mind into different thoughts and allow ourselves to release these blockages that are being held within our body, these stagnations, these blockages that are being held within our mind. Move through that and come out of it into another place. So first for me was recognizing that this was something that was possible, that this could even happen. By this first person seeing this lady with the long hair and she verbalized what I was saying. Secondly, working with a practitioner who helped me understand all the different clairs that I was experiencing, the sound, the sight, the smell, the taste, the touch, the knowing. And then thirdly, incorporating it into my daily practices, incorporating it into my meditations, finding different modalities and things that helped me along this way, just like the network care spinal wave stuff, where it was helping me to tap into my body in other ways, breathing, feeling into my body in different places, seeing what my body is telling me. It's learning to tune into what your body is telling you here and now. And when your body is screaming at you about something, it's just screaming that, hey, there's a block here. There's something going on in some way that isn't benefiting me. And what is a way that we can release this? What is a way that we can get this moving, get this stagnation flowing again so that we can be cleaned and cleared in that area? Please comment down below if you have specific questions on any of this, because I will make more videos on this. I've been trying to figure out how to even begin to describe this. I can do this work on myself. I can do this work on other people. You can do this work on yourself. You can do this work on other people. It's incredible. And so please leave comments down below with more questions if you have them. I do one-on-one coaching if you would like to speak to me about how you can incorporate this into your practices. If you have questions for me, please reach out. The links are in the bio down below, and how to contact me on Instagram or on my email through my website. This is such a cool way, to learn the body, to learn how to harness our energy. Our cells are all vibrating, our atoms are all vibrating, our body is always shifting and transmuting and changing. Our nervous system is electricity. We have electromagnetic hearts. Like, we are energy. It's so cool when we learn how to harness this. So all right, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.